And we are back with another episode on Across the Board. We are here with Jaden. Man,
Yep.
it is great to see you. It's been a while. How's your 4th of July?
It was great. It was great. How about yours?
That's pretty good, man. Watched some fireworks, chillax, had a good time, ate some s'mores. Just all good
There you
stuff,
go.
man.
There you go.
And
As
jumped in the
long as
swimming.
as long as you ate a hot dog. Did you eat a hot dog?
I sure did. It was like
Oh
a
man,
nice flavored hot dog. It was
it's awesome.
superb. It was superb. But we're glad you're here
Yep.
today. We've got the John Deere to recap and talk about. That was very enjoyable to watch. Then
Mhm.
we got to talk about the Genesis Scottish Open and moving to the ISCO Championship. So, going to be a fun episode today. Glad you're joining us. If you are new to Across the Board, welcome. We cover lots of sports. So, if that's of interest to you, go follow us on all our socials at Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, all those good things. And Jane, I say we go and hop right into it. So, the John Deere this week played at TPC Deer Run. Now, I know you were not here for the preview, but I want you to kind of talk to us about this golf course. You've played it before. You played it for your national championship. Or I believe it was regional. It was national championship.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes. Kind of just talk about this golf course and really what these players had to deal with this week and this really style.
Um. Well, I mean, I would say it differed throughout the week. The first round for sure was obviously there was low numbers, but it was a lot more. It was colder. It was more firm. They got a lot of rain throughout after that day, and so it really softened the golf course. Yeah, especially going in the last round. You saw how the fairways are really, really soft. Um, that golf course, though, when firm, it is not the easiest. It's not too tight, but it's not the most wide open golf course on the planet. Especially when it's firm, it gets windy out there in Illinois, and so just being the wind, can definitely affect them. There wasn't too much wind this week though, so usually this golf course is pretty easy for these PGA guys, and it's what it was. There's a lot of undulations in the greens, a lot of, uh, I would say, good placed pins when it comes to not being able to miss in certain spots. There's a lot of ups and downs, even with it being in Illinois. There's a lot of just going downhill, going uphill, greens sitting up, stuff like that. And it's a lot more of a placement golf course. If you can place it in the right spot, you have a very easy chance of, putting it where you want. But if not, then it can become a little difficult. But I knew we were going to see a low number this week. It's always around the 20, and obviously the winner is sitting just exactly at 20 under in Chris Goddard. His game suits this golf course. I mean, it's there's some holes out there that don't fit a cut, and so for someone like him who really does hit one, uh, some of the holes can become difficult, but a lot of the golf course favors it, and he took advantage of that.
For sure. As you already said, your John Deere Classic winner, Chris Goddard, gets his third win on tour this year. This guy is something special, and I wouldn't be surprised in the future if we see him on a Ryder Cup team, maybe
Or
up in the up and coming years. Guys been playing some great golf, but you talked about it. Going this week, there was a lot of weather that
mm-hmm,
really softened up the golf course. Lots of birdies were made. I thought a lot of guys went after pins. I
mm-hmm,
said tons of birdies. Guys getting aggressive and really fun and entertaining to watch. But Chris Goddard, he was fifth in scrambling. He was tied eighth in putts per green, first in strokes gained off the tee, which was a big part going to this weekend. He was 13th in strokes gained around the green, fifth in strokes gained putting, and first strokes gained overall. And a big thing for Chris was fifth strokes gained putting. We talked about his putting a lot, right? It's one of those things that, if this can get consistent and be good for him, this guy can be unlike, really any other. I think he can really elevate his game. We saw that. He made a lot of putts in that final round. He went after it. He really was chasing
mm-hmm.
and doing what he needed to do and making putts. And that really contributed to his success. I thought again, he drove the ball well as
Hmm.
we again, he was first stroking off the tee. He drove the ball well, he found fairways, and he made putts, made birdies, won the tournament at 20 under, and he played very well. Now, I kind of want to go to the guy that was leading this weekend for majority of the time until that, it all went downhill. Lucas Glover, you look at this week, he was first in strokes gained approach to green. His iron play to the green and his ball striking was fantastic. He struck
Hmm.
the ball well.
Yeah.
But in that third round, I want to say by hole 16, he did not make a putt past 5 feet 7 inches. He just could not make putts. And
Yeah.
that is really tough on anybody, but that's so tough to really, first off, go low, but
Hmm.
also progress and keeping the gas, really the foot on the pedal. It allowed a lot of guys to kind of get in contention, and it allowed Chris Goddard to put up a good round and do what he needed to do. And Lee Hodges is the same way. They just could not get going
Yeah.
on the final round for Lee Hodges. Lucas Glover, just kind of this weekend, he was leading. He was at 14 under, and it
Hmm.
just seemed like he really couldn't get anything going and just put a lot of pressure really on his iron game to keep hitting lots of greens and stick it close to get a putt to fall.
Hmm.
And the big number this week, as I kind of already mentioned, he was 74th in the field in feet of putts made. He's only made 60 feet, 1 inch worth of putts over 4 rounds. Again, it's tough to score and it's tough to put up that low number and keep your foot on the gas when that's going on with you. And I really thought he had a hard time really just getting anything going. He had momentum going to the weekend and just could not keep that. What were your thoughts on Lucas and those final rounds really allowing Chris Goddard up and even Max Homa to jump him?
Well, I think you said it. Man, at 210 in the last round, and well, just before that, through 9 holes, he had a 3-shot lead. Ben Coles did over Goddard, Hodges, and Glover. He was at 20, and the rest of the guys were at 17. He obviously did not even finish at 20. Um, he shot 18 under, went 2 over on the back nine, which, man, it's hard to say because you look at the front nine and the back nine, and you look statistically, the front nine is had 4 hard holes, the back nine has 4 hard holes basically, and you would think the front nine, which he took advantage of a lot this week, would vary and how he took advantage of it. Going to the back nine, you would think he would have a good chance to score. You had the best scoring hole in all the rounds in 17, and on the back nine, and he couldn't do anything. I mean, you said it, putting. It's exactly what it is. This golf course requires good putting, and because, like I had said, there's some undulations in the greens. They're very slopey, and they were rolling good this week. They weren't rolling too fast. I think they were only rolling about a 12, which is not insane. It is fast, though, especially with some of the slopes out there. And I mean, you looked at the guys that caught him, and Max Homa and Chris Goddard up, that were putting pressure on him. Those guys were draining putts. I mean, they were making pretty much everything they saw, especially Chris Goddard. And that's exactly what you got to do. You just got to give yourself a chance on the putting green. And if you can give yourself a chance on the green and you can make something, you can very well go really low on this golf course. And that's exactly what Chris Goddard did, was shooting 62. And Ben Coles couldn't do it on the back nine. And then 18, one of the best finishing holes in all of golf. Um, you can't hit in the water. Yeah, you just can't. You can't hit in the water. There's a lot of room right, a ton of room right, and there's no reason for him to go after that 10 and try to do something special, especially back left there. Just no reason. And instead, he took it on. I think he just thought if he could put it somewhere on the green, it was basically a wrap up, and he didn't. He hit in the water. Terrible situation there. Obviously, couldn't chip it in, and loses his golf tournament. But it's just he did not take advantage when he needed to, and it just he couldn't make putts. I mean, it's very simple.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, the putting a big thing. Like you've got to capitalize when you get opportunities. Just did not happen. And unfortunate events for Ben Coles. Really thought he was going to do it, but just a tough finish on the 18th hole. Do want to talk about one last guy though before we move on to the Genesis Scottish Open. Max Homa. You're almost hoping that this is the start of maybe more cuts made, more top 10 finishes, more momentum for him after this week. He finished at 19 under. He finished in second place, and he had a good week. I mean, he was 21st strokes gained off the tee, 20th in strokes gained approach the green, second in strokes gained around the green. He was 25th in strokes gained putting, second in strokes gained total, and tied third for scrambling. I loved his finish. He put up a great fight. Unfortunately, at the end, had a chance on 18, couldn't make the putt, but
Mm-hmm.
you're almost hoping that this is the start of something big for Max Homa, and you're almost really hoping that this can get him on the right track. What did you think of Max Homa's really performance this weekend? Do you think this could be the start of something for him?
I think it could be. I mean, his he was obviously second in around the green, and at a golf course like that, there's a lot of tight lies at Deer Run, and so you got to take advantage when you can if you have a good lie or anything like that. He did really good around the greens all week. Um, I think though his biggest thing is still he was 25th in putting, which is not bad. But we have seen Max Homa have some struggles with the putter. Um, but I think he to green, he was third, and I think that's really what impressed me was the fact that he just played good golf, just solid golf from the tee box into the green, and that gave him the chance, even though he was 25th in strokes gained putting, it still gave him the chance to be 19 under and place second in this tournament. I just think he did a really good job of keeping his ball just in the fairway or in play and not putting himself in bad situations all week. Because we've seen it in the past, man. Max Homa, his driver or his irons have put himself in bad spots. He can't get out of it, and then it tumbles, you know. And he was 20th in approach. Not too bad for Max Homa. So we know he can be a great irons player, and it wasn't too bad this week. I think this could really be, and hopefully will be, kind of a boost for him.
For sure, man. Happy for Max Homa. Hopefully, this is the start of something great. But that's going to do it for us for the John Deere Classic. When we come back, we're going to hop into the Genesis Scottish Open and give our thoughts and give a little preview before this golf tournament. Alrighty, we got the Genesis Scottish Open going on this week at the Renaissance Club, and this one's going to be a fun one. A lot of big names in this golf tournament. Scotty, Rory, Ludwig, all the above, Xander. List goes on. Going to be a big tournament, and I'm pretty excited for this week. Chris Goddard, the defending champion, looking to hold that title, and we're excited. I don't know about you, Jaden, but I'm pretty amped up for this.
Me too. I would say it's a great week of golf. We've seen some great moments at the Scottish Open, and so I'm hoping it's going to continue this week.
I like that. I like that. Now going this week, playing at the Renaissance Club, some things I'm expecting from the leader. Driving distance. Gonna have to hit the ball far out here. Okay. That's huge. To play well at this golf course, you got to be able to hit the ball far. Two, strokes game putting. Going to be absolutely huge. Kind of going like back to last week. You got to make putts. You got to capitalize on opportunities. If you're able to capitalize, go low, you will see yourself up top of the leaderboard. So that's kind of the things I'm expecting from a leader this week. Is there anything you think should be added that you want to see from the winner this week if they want to win this golf tournament?
Um, I think it's honestly, it is a bomber's golf course for sure. If you can hit it far, you give yourself good chances. Especially even we saw last year, even with guys kind of just bombing it like wherever. And if you're just far enough up there, you have a good chance. It's a link style golf course. It's exactly what you expect it to be. But at the same time, you might not have to hit it as far to obviously hit it far. And example, the ball's going to roll for a while. And if you can hit it low, we saw last year with Chris Goddard, a guy who hits the ball really, really low. Uh, it helps as well. He already bombs it, but also him getting the rollout is insane. It is a bomber's golf course, but we've seen Chris Goddard win last year, Robert McIntyre the year before, Rory, and then Xander. So it's a mix. Maybe the lefties. Maybe a lefty wins this year. Maybe we go back and forth, lefty, righty, lefty. I don't know.
Maybe, man. We'll see. Got some big names here, though, this week. Who are some of the guys you're looking at going into this week? What are some names that are like really sticking out to you going to the Genesis Scottish Open?
I think it's interesting because we could look at the guys who you think fit the golf course style the most, or guys that fit the link style course the most, or have won on those styles of courses. But also we could look at the guys who are really hot at the moment. Chris Goddard obviously would love to see if he can defend. He won this last week at John Deere, played insanely good. Does his putter stay absolutely red hot? If so, easily could defend and go back to back. This is what started the hot streak of Chris Goddard last year. So does it continue? Then you look at someone like Scotty, who just still hasn't been able to get the win. That he's thinking. Basically, I think he's good. So does he finally do it this week? Is this where he finally gets it done? Does it get him ready for the Open? And could he win a major that we expect him to win this year? Or you could look at a guy like Rory, who hasn't played a ton this year, who's not even eligible for the end of the year awards because he hasn't even played enough events. What does he do this week? He's gone win, tied fourth, tied second the last 3 times with the Genesis. Does he win this year? Does he contend? Does he look good? Does he look better than he looked at the U.S. Open going down the stretch? There's a lot of questions. But I think there's a couple of guys who kind of fit my eye of just to wonder what they can do. I think Tom Kim is one of them. He's been really hot. He's played really good golf as of recently. And then at the Genesis, he's gone third, tied 6th, tied 15th, tied 17th. He doesn't hate Link Styles golf course, and his game doesn't hurt them unless it's really windy. But I think that's somebody to take a close eye on and see how he can play. I think another guy in Xander, he hasn't done a ton this year, not to the level that we expect. He likes Link Styles golf courses. What
He's
can you
got
do
4
going the
top
Open?
15s.
Yeah.
He's got 4 top 15s at this event in his last 5 starts.
So, it's also, what can he do? And then I think the other guy I just kind of, I don't know, look at and see and wonder what maybe he can do is Tommy Fleetwood. Mainly because I want to see how he looks going to the Open. We're still expecting him to win a major at some point. He's playing good golf. He has played good golf. Arguably the best golfer not to win a major. Can he do it? What does he look like this week? And then does that kind of catapult him into next week in the Open and get him on a roll?
For sure. The other name I was looking at too, I think Rory, obviously, and Tommy sticks out to me too. Now he's got a top 4 and a top 6
mm-hmm.
and 2 of his 5 starts. So I think he's an interesting name too. Like, what can he bring this week? But again, a lot of big names, a lot of guys looking to kind of get some momentum going into the Open. Now, let's get our picks and predictions. Who are your dark horses going to this week?
I just throw me out there on the spot. Because honestly,
I
I
am.
wasn't exactly ready for
Now,
that.
for all
But
those who don't know, the dark horses, any odds plus 3,000. So 3,000 or above are
yep,
what are considered dark horses for these events. So that's kind
exactly.
of the bar.
Yeah. And this week I am actually going to use DraftKings, so odds might be a little higher than what they usually are, but I've got a few guys. Um, I think to begin with, we can start with a guy that maybe not many people are looking at, mainly because people still might not know really who he is. Um, he sits at 5,800 plus 5,800 this week. He has won a golf tournament this year, a signature event at that, and that is Christopher Wrighton. I think he is an interesting guy to look at. He's played good this year. His last like 5 events after his win haven't been amazing. He's had a tie 6 and a tie 22nd, but he's just, I mean, he hits the ball a long way. I mean, he hits the ball a long way. He's really good off the tee, which I love for this golf course. Um, his distance has only gone up this year off the tee, and when his putting's on, he's one of the best out there. Just a couple weeks ago, the Travelers, he had plus 1.8 strokes gained in putting. Um, that's the highest he's had all year. So I just think he's a guy who could definitely put a number out there and compete. And then the second guy I'm going with, I think this one's kind of self-explanatory to a degree, but he sits at plus 5,500. He's been hot towards the end of the year. He has gotten cut the last 2 times he's played at this tournament, but it is Alex Fitzpatrick. I don't think there's much
I
to
like that one.
explain on why he can win, because he's played great. I mean, since their win at Zurich, he's gone T9, 4th, T75th, T6, T20, T23, and T7th at the Travelers a couple weeks ago. He's been great, man. I mean, he's been incredible off the tee. His approach shots have been insanely good. This is also across the river, I mean, like, this is, like, it's across the way, man. He's back home, basically. Obviously, he's not from Scotland, but, like, these are the styles of golf courses that he knows how to play really good. And we've seen him win on the DP World Tour multiple times, and that's where he likes to play. So why not? Then the other guy I'm going with, kind of the same premises. But this guy has won an event this year. Well, not won this event, sorry. And sitting at plus 3,800 in Bobby Mack, Robert McIntyre. I don't think there's anything I have to explain, really. He loves this golf course. He loves Link Styles golf courses. He won 2 years ago. He hasn't played insanely good this year, but I think he can, I don't know, get it on track. This is his, home style golf courses. He knows how to play. He wants to get ready for the Open next week. I think he gets a good start here. And then last but not least, I'm torn because there's so many guys I could pick. There really just is. Um, but I'm gonna go with a really, really dark horse kind of. Um, Mainly because he played good there last week. Not last week, last year. He almost won the golf tournament. Probably should have won the golf tournament. I'm going with Marco Pin, sitting at plus 8,800. This is, I mean, he hits the ball 8 miles. Obviously, he was the best player in the DP World Tour for a little bit. That's why he's on the PGA Tour now. He likes these styles of golf courses. He's really good at them. He hits the ball really, really far, which is something that you can take advantage of out there. He hasn't played great this year, but it is his first year on the PGA Tour, so can't really say too much about that. This last week he did play at the BMW International Open and was T9th. Back across, on the DP world and golf courses like that, he's playing good. I like him to have another chance this year.
For sure. I mean, I like your dark horse picks, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I think those are pretty good. But now, you know what time it is, Jaden.
Yeah, I do.
Who is your guy? Like, who is that one
Wow,
dude
my
that you're
guy.
like, yes? Like, who is like, yes, that's happening?
You know, you know what? I was so close with Scotty. So close with Scotty a couple weeks ago, man. So close.
Mhm.
So close. I thought I had it with the trap. I thought I did.
If it makes you feel better, I was not close last week. I had Ben Griffin, and that fell down a drain. Now, he did make the cut. So, I'm going to at least give myself some
Disappointingly, I
props.
wish I would have been in the episode last week because I had Chris Johnson playing, and
Well,
it's not even on video. So
yeah, I picked good old Ben Griffin, and that one didn't age well.
yeah.
Did not age well.
But the guy is gonna win this week. You know what? I'm not going with the favorite because that would be Scotty, and every single time I pick Scotty, he loses. So he's probably gonna win this week because I'm not picking him because I'm going with the guy that won it last year, who just won last week, Chris Goddard. He's too hot, man. He's played amazing this year. He's had 3 wins. He's had 4 wins since last year's Genesis Scottish Open, and that's what started it all. He loves golf courses like this. He absolutely bombs the heck out of the ball. I do not think that he comes into this week in kind of a slump after winning. It does happen quite a bit, but I don't think that happens this week. I think he keeps it rolling because I think he could be a competitor at the Open next week. I think he keeps it rolling. I think he wins back to back.
It's a solid pick, man. I'm not going to lie. That's a good one. I'm not going that route, though. Okay. So, my guy, okay, this is kind of off history. In his last 3 starts at the Genesis Scottish Open
Oh, I think I might know who you
have been pretty admirable. How about 3 top 5 finishes? Here's another hint. Maybe he hasn't played that much this year. But Rory McIlroy is going to be the guy this week. Okay. Now, I know he has not played a lot. Okay. That is all fair.
Sure.
Fine. I'll give you that. But this guy can hit the ball a mile.
That is true.
His ball striking, it's there. This guy is capable of winning. Okay. Clearly, he plays his course well. He has the last 3 years.
He has a plaque.
This is his moment.
He has a plaque. You have to, it says you have a plaque at that golf course. You have to play good if you plaque.
Exactly. And off those finishes, it's his moment. He's going to shine bright. Rory's going to get it done this week at the Genesis Scottish Open.
I totally understand. My only question is how good is his irons? His irons are terrible. The US Open.
Okay. Now, that's one event, Dom.
One
event.
I know. I'm just saying that's my only question. His driving has been good, so it's definitely golf course. We've seen it at that golf course. You can take advantage of hitting it a mile, and he can. So yeah, I don't dislike it. I think he totally can. I think he will be at least competing this week. I would be surprised, really surprised if he wasn't at least competing. So I like it.
Fair enough, man. But there are a bunch of good names. Like Xander was up there for me. Scotty, obviously.
Maybe
Bobby
Ludwig.
McIntyre.
Maybe Ludwig gets something going.
I know.
Yeah, Bobby
he was another
one. I like that.
He was another interesting one.
Even someone like Shane Lowry, going back home. Something, there's some guys out there.
There are a lot of guys this week. Going to be a fun event. We are excited to watch. But coming up on across the board, the other event going on the PGA Tour, the ISCO Championship. We're going to give a little preview with that. our predictions, and a little breakdown of the golf course coming up next. Alrighty, on to the ISCO Championship. Going to be played at Hurstbourne Country Club in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, this is the side PGA event. Now, if you know the Genesis Scottish Open, that's kind of a mix. You got the DP World Tour and the PGA Tour kind of combined for that event. The ISCO is a PGA event. Now, you got some PGA guys, not a bunch of big names playing in this one. A lot of guys playing this one for the points on the PGA Tour, the FedEx Cup point standings, trying to get points to move up that leaderboard. But some of the names this week, you're going to see Ben Coles looking to respond after last week. Jackson Coyven, who has had a very been playing some pretty solid golf, I'd say. Been playing pretty well. William Miles coming back to defend his title. Max Homa coming to play. Maybe. We'll see there. But going to be a fun week at the ISCO. And, you look at this golf course, Hurstbourne Country Club, driving distance, kind of, again, like the Renaissance Club, driving distance going to be a huge thing this week. Strokes gain putting as well, another big part to this golf club. And strokes gain around the green, strokes gain approach to green. Course requires everything to be on point. Okay? From tee to green, you have to be good. So these guys, a couple of these guys coming from the John Deere Classic did that. Some of them did that last week, some didn't. But going to kind of demand the same thing going in this week. You're going to need to get off the tee. Going to need to make some putts. Going to need to hit your greens. So going to be a fun week. Jaden, just kind of give us some thoughts a little bit, your thoughts really going to this week at the ISCO Championship.
I think obviously, like you said, it favors bombers. It favors the guys who can hit it far. This is only the second year of them playing at Hurstbourne, so a little bit of a newer golf course for the PGA guys. Now, like Easton said, this is besides the Genesis Scottish Open, so a lot of the main guys are playing at the Genesis Scottish Open, not the ISCO. So you see kind of more of the smaller guys or the up and comers playing this week. So at the same time, a lot of these guys haven't played this course before, and it's a great place for maybe a younger guy to make a ripple in the water and maybe get something going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of the big thing this week. You're going to see a lot of guys, for example, Ben Coles, a guy who's kind of been off and on the Corn Ferry and PGA, Jackson Coyven, Max Homa. You're going to see a lot of these guys trying to get those points to move up the FedEx Cup race to get into the postseason playoffs. And so that's kind of what this event is. There's a lot of events. You're going to see the same next week. You have the Open Championship, and I believe the Corral. Ooh, am I going? Just had the event pulled up here. Oh, okay. Now I'm just going too far. I believe it is the Corrales.
Yeah.
Yeah, that event is going to be next week. So coming down the stretch, yeah, Corrales Putacana Championship. You're going to see that event. And just like this one, you're going to see a bunch of guys. You probably won't see big names, but these are guys kind of like in that maybe 80 to maybe 85 range, trying to get points to move up that leaderboard. So that's kind of what the ISCO is. Not going to see a lot of big names, but still interesting tournament. Obviously, William Mao, the defending champion, he had a really solid week last week at the John Deere Classic. So a lot to kind of look forward to going to this week. Ben Coles and Jackson Coyven, a couple guys I'm looking at. They've got a couple top 10 finishes at this tournament. And again, you're going to see Max Homa coming this week. Ben Coles, Coyven, these are guys who need to have good finishes at this golf tournament. They're trying to get in the FedEx Cup race. Got to have it. It's very essential. What are your thoughts, Jaden, kind of going into this week at the ISCO? What are you kind of expecting from these guys?
Honestly, I think the biggest headline for this week is the fact that DraftKings Jackson Coyven is the favorite for this tournament. This is his second tournament as a pro. He played the John Deere last week. That was his first tournament, and he missed the cut. And he goes into this week, and he's the favorite to win. I'm just, I mean, just kind of taken back by that. He's ahead of Max Homa, who sits at plus 1900, and Poison sits at plus 1550. They are both tied at plus 1400 on Hard Rock, but still, it's kind of insane that Johnson Corzin is favored to win this golf tournament. He does hit it a long way, so he definitely could take advantage on the distance side of it. I will say he played good at the U.S. Open. He didn't play good at the John Deere last week, but it could be a bounce back week. He can get something going maybe. Then Max Homa, he can keep it going. He needs to keep it going. He needs to play well. I think it's really going to be interesting to watch him, see how he plays, and see if he can get something going before the end of the year. Then you have some other guys, like younger guys, or just some guys who played good last week, like Ben Coles. He bounced back after that devastating loss. Someone like Zach Blair, who played great last week. I love his putter collection and the free farm. It's an amazing looking course. Wish I could play there. Or you get a young guy like Preston Stout, who obviously new guy
He
here.
played well last week.
Yeah, he played good last week. Could he keep it going? You have guys like Luke Clinton, Nick Dunlap, Neil Stipley, all the young guys, that we all expect to do something in the future. They could all get, maybe a win this week or get something up there and make themselves a little more known than they already are. Someone like Benjamin James as well. I mean, there's just a lot of guys who can do something, make a ripple in the water, maybe just start to get their name on top of the leaderboard and figure out how to play in a golf course like that, or how to play in with some pressure and, see what they can do.
For sure. I want to add a couple names as well, like Zach Blair, really competitive last week, had a lead at one point. He has not won the PGA Tour yet. He's looking for his first PGA Tour win. Lee Hodges last week, another guy that competed, couldn't really finish it off. Lucas Glover was looking to finish it off. And William Mao back at it. Ben Coles. You mentioned a lot of these guys. They're looking to make themselves known, and they're looking to really more of prove to themselves, but also show that, hey, we can compete on the PGA Tour and really just show what they have. No, I think it's going to be a fun week, and I think we're going to see a lot of good golf.
Yeah.
And I think, again, a lot of guys trying to make a statement this week. Who do you have winning this week?
I don't know. I've been looking at this list of guys for a while here, and I honestly just don't know. I will say, I love Jackson Corbin. Love how he plays golf. I think he will be really, really, really good in the PGA. I do not think he wins this week, though. I think it is kind of insane that he is the favorite. Only his second pro start. I think that's kind of absurd. He's really good, but he might, honestly, might regret his words. He might win this week. I do not think he will win. I think Max Homa will compete. I think he can definitely win this week. But so difficult to pick anybody, honestly. I think just for the heck of it, I'm gonna go Davis Thompson. Mainly because he hits the ball a good way. Obviously that's what this course needs. He hasn't played here this last year. He's been up and down this year, but I just think I don't know, something about it. I honestly I don't know. I'm just going with David.
There you go. This one was tough. I will say first, I'm not gonna hop on the train yet of Max Homa. I wanted to. I think he finishes in the top 10. I think he has a good week. I just don't know if he wins. I'm a little hesitant on that one. But there are some guys, like Ben Coles I'm looking at, William Mao, Zach Blair, Lucas Glover. But I'm going to go with the guy that competed last week. I think if he puts it together, he can win, get a second win on the PGA Tour. Give me Lee Hodges to win this week at the ISCO. He played well last week. He's trying to get up and move up that leaderboard for the FedEx Cup standings. He's got a lot to play for, like a lot of these guys. But last week, he hit the ball well. Obviously, did not get the end result he wanted. But I think at the end of the day, he's very capable. He's already won once on the PGA Tour. I think he can get a second win. And I think this is his week to really, really hop up those standings.
There you go. I think there's a good chance that. I will say though, he did. Jackson Coyven did play last year.
Yeah.
At
So
this tournament.
So a couple of tournaments he did play in last year, he was an amateur, so he wasn't like really
He wasn't a pro, but he was an amateur. He did place T6.
Mm-hmm. So he's an interesting name. Like
he might
it's
just
tough,
make me
but
mark my words. Maybe he wins.
For sure. Going to be a fun week. We're excited. Genesis Scottish Open, the ISCO Championship. Go watch those. And that's going to do it for us today here on Across the Board. Thank you all, oh goodness, for joining us today on Across the Board. We post a lot of sports content, so if that's of interest to you, go follow us on all our socials at TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, Threads, all those good things at Across the Board. And we hope to see you next time on the next episode.